What's up, my people? What's going on? Thanks for tapping back in. Hey, if you're here, go ahead, like and subscribe. I appreciate you. Wanted to tap in and give my take on what's been going on with the Lakers. They're 2 preseason games in. The biggest story for most of the media is the fact that Bronny James has played in preseason, and that he last night actually got on the court at the same time as his dad. So as someone that has been critical of the nepotism that it took to get Bronny James onto the Lakers and the process and the way they did it, I will still say that it is to a certain degree, like magical, I would say, unique, I don't know, special. It is, of course, a special thing to have a son and a father play together. It's just something you don't see all the time. It's definitely a cute moment. It's dope from that sense, right? Like, oh, that's cool. The problem is, for me, that it's kind of tainted with the fact that Bronny's just, to me, still not looking like an NBA level player. That doesn't mean that Bronny James isn't a really good basketball player. Like I've said before, if you compare him to everyone else on earth except for NBA or professional basketball players, he's really good. You know what I mean? But the reality of it is that he wasn't even truly special in high school, went to college, wasn't special there, and in college had a major health issue that would lend to, along with the other factors that, hey, the NBA probably isn't the place for him, right? But because, the connections he has, because of the fact that his dad is who he is, and, besides it probably being something that he wanted to do, definitely the people around him wanted that to happen. They made it happen. He is where he is. Hopefully there's never any sort of health issues. But my point is that it just makes the whole specialness of it not that special, because it seems kind of forced. So as you guys, probably watched throughout the Summer League, Bronny James didn't really perform well in the Summer League. I think he had maybe one game where he looked pretty decent. Maybe he had like 8 or 10 points, something like that. But there was one game in the Summer League where he looked okay. But overall, he looked a little out of place. He looked like he was getting lost on defense pretty often. And on offense, he seemed like he just really didn't have what it took to kind of like impose his will or be a consistent player, right? What you saw, like a stark difference from the other draftee, Dalton Connect, was that he was able to immediately get his shot off, knock his shot in, or make his shot, and really look like an NBA player. So I hope whoever's watching this sees that this isn't any hate. I'm never gonna hate on Bronny, right? Like he's done nothing to be hated on, right? He's a young person taking advantage of opportunities that are put in front of him, and he always comes off articulate, respectful, all that. It's just like the glaring differences when he's out there. They're hard to miss. It's hard to look at a Dalton Connect and have him come out in the first preseason game. He went, he scored 16 points. I think he made 3 or 4 3-pointers. He looks NBA ready, and this is what you would expect from someone that's getting drafted, right? Like we always say, or one of the things that I hear from a lot of people that are critical about, Bronny making it to the Lakers, is that we're not saying that he could have never got to the league, or he could have never worked his way to a place of being like a respected, real, solid player and make his way into the league. We're just saying that it was premature, that it was forced, that it wasn't reflective of his college career or even his high school career. It was truly a decision to give LeBron James what he wants. Now, does that mean that he's gonna, be trash forever, or he's never? No, that we don't. No one can tell the future. He does have certain characteristics that are positive, that anyone that knows basketball could look at him and be like, okay, cool. He's a hard worker on defense. He does seem to be like out of the defensive scheme sometimes, where he's kind of reacting late to certain things, and that's what it's going to look like for someone that really isn't NBA ready. It's going to look like you're just one step behind, right? Like you're reacting to something that's already happened. You're trying to catch up to the play while the other players are not trying to catch up to the play, right? Like obviously defense is always going to be a reactive position, but when you're on top of it and you're moving at the speed of the game, you're not looking like you're one step behind, right? So that's really what I've noticed. So last night, second preseason game, I think the first preseason game, I think he made one layup, which when he makes that layup, it looks good, right? You're like, okay, I think for anybody to get a layup off amongst NBA talent, you're clearly good. You got something, right? You're athletic, you can finish, right? But second game, I think he might have played 13, 14 minutes, 0 points, 4 turnovers, right? This isn't to pile on Bronny or even talk shit about Bronny, right? Like I got nothing but love for him. You know what I mean? Like I got love for LeBron James, low key, right? But there's certain things about him that are annoying as hell as like a true basketball fan, right? But as an individual, of course, I support him. I support, all of his endeavors outside of basketball, his family, all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like we black, we here to support our people, right? But as a true basketball, savant, appreciator, respecter of all the legends that have come before, I gotta call BS where I see it, and I feel like your boy is a big BSer. But anyways, back to Bronny. So that's been the main, the main hype. All the Instagram pages are posting things related to them being on the court together, and I'm like, that's more of a personal thing, right? As a basketball fan, what you're looking for is your team to make moves and decisions that make the team better and put the team in a better position to compete for a championship, right? That's where all the angst and stresses and the fun is related to being a fan of any sport. You're like hoping your team gets better so they can beat some of their rivals, so we can add championships to the our history and further our team's history and rankings and all that stuff. But when you do something like this, where it's really kind of like an emotional play, it's a play to kind of be the first in NBA history to do something like that. And it's really a way to support our big star who's probably going to be retiring soon. Hey, I understand all those things because at the end of the day, this is still a business. So as a business, the Lakers are going to make certain decisions that are going to be really financially driven and really driven towards the idea of just, supporting jersey sales and seat sales, right? I totally get that. But I think this is the first time we've seen this so blatant where an organization is willing to make a decision that really is kind of anti-winning, right? Like you're picking someone that is not going to help you win at all. I just can't see him helping them win. And the reason why you did it was to appease an aging star, right? You know what I mean? And LeBron James, you got to really think about it. We're in 2024. They won a ring in 2020. That one, obviously, it was a championship, but it was questionable in the sense of how, authentic it was compared to other championships. But it is what it is. We got the championship. But as you see, since then, we have not been in contention, right? With LeBron James scoring 25 points a game, with Anthony Davis scoring 25 points a game, we have not been in contention. So when an organization does something to appease a star that has been doing what you would consider decent, but still ain't putting us in a position to win, you can tell it's more of a legacy move. It's not really about the organization actually winning. Maybe they truly believe that, hey, right now we can't win. So our best bet is to service our superstar and make him happy on his way out, I can understand all of it. I'm not going to argue with all of it, but I'm just pointing out the facts of it all, and at the end of the day, Bronny's there. I support him. I think that the smart thing for him to do would probably be play in the G League a lot, right? Spend a lot of time in the G League. And I wouldn't say it's a bad idea to play some games with the Lakers, even if you don't get a lot of playing time, because of the fact that you're going to be on the bench watching things closely, you know, picking up that game speed. But I think that, you know, playing in the G League will obviously give you more reps, more runs with better talent, so that you can start to get to the level that you need to be at to possibly play some meaningful minutes in the NBA. You know, but even still, I am a believer that where you're at in college and where you're at, you know, in high school in comparison to your competition is kind of reflective of where you would be in the league, right? Like, the crazy thing about Bronny James going to the NBA after his time at USC was that, for all intents and purposes, he was pretty, you know, low level at USC. And I know he had the previous injury, or the health scare, but it wasn't like he had a busted knee, or he had like a messed up ankle or something like that. And it wasn't like prior to that health scare, he was crushing it in high school. It was like he was a good high school player, but he wasn't the best on his team. And it wasn't like he was the best in the district or in the league. You know, I just think that they're like trying to project what they want from someone that never really gave it to them, based on the fact that it's, you know, like if it was numbers alone and history alone, he would have definitively not made the league. But because you have the ability to have, you know, LeBron James supporting the move and Rich Paul selling the move and pushing it, then you're able to make it happen. You know what I mean? And once again, no hate on that, but there's a reality to it. So my point in saying that is that I just don't see him getting to that level. I just don't see it. You know what I mean? Like, I think that you are what you are coming out of high school, right? Like, if you're a beast coming out of high school, then going to college, you'll probably further that and become, you know, a better version of that, of what you were in high school. And then you go on to the league, you'll likely improve and probably, you know, be a better version of what you were in college. But if you barely made it out of, if you in college were good, but not like beast mode, like the best in your region, your school, then I think that you're probably like a good player that'll probably be, you know, average, you know what I mean, at your next stop, right? In college, he didn't do anything remarkable. He was able to get 5 points a game, I think a little bit less than that. And, you know, performed kind of like whatever, you know, nothing that really like made any headlines. But instead of them saying, hey, go ahead, stay there longer, we know that you had the health scare your first year, you know, stay there and improve and learn and show that you can compete against your peers and beat your peers, they went straight from there to the league. And it doesn't seem like there's been any sort of like leap or progression that justifies it. You know, when you look at the what he did in the preseason, it's like below average, right? Like, when you look at what he did in the when you look at what he did in the summer league, below average, actually not good. You know, no one wants to use those words because we all want to be hopeful and give them time. I'm just talking about our expectations of someone in their you know, as they're coming into the league. We're expecting them to be able to compete. We're not expecting them to be with a finished product, but Dalton Connect is an example of what we're kind of expecting. We're expecting someone to come in confidently and contribute in the preseason or in the summer league and show that you're a good player, right? Bronny James is struggling, right, in the sense of like he's not showing any sort of NBA readiness, right? Like, obviously he made a layup, and, you know, anyone that's positive and wants to support him, like, yeah, that's a great thing. But he's not showing like, okay, this guy's NBA ready, or this guy should be in this league. He's kind of showing what everyone's been saying. He's not an NBA ready talent. He's not offering anything special. The first game that he played, and I watched the full game, the guy he was guarding was working him, and the guy was kind of smaller. And, you know, I'm pretty sure he's a rookie as well, but he's an example of an NBA ready rookie, not someone that they're like coddling to try to get NBA ready, you know? So that's all I got to say, man. I support Bronny. You know, I'm going to really try to back off my LeBron annoyance this year, just so I can get back to my true essence as a Laker fan, just rooting for my squad, because I do love the Lakers. I would get a Laker tattoo, even currently with him on it, just because, or with LeBron there, just because I'm a true Laker fan. I love the squad. I've been down for many years, and I'm gonna stay down. But as a true fan, you know what I mean? Like, culture matters. You know, our history and our culture as a Laker organization, we got a different vibe. You know, we respect our legends, we respect our OGs, you know what I mean? So, you know, those are the things that kind of rub me the wrong way about your boy LeBron, when it kind of becomes a thing where it's all about him. But at the same time, like I said, I'm gonna back off that annoyance. I'm still going to, you know, drop facts on whatever topic's going on. But, you know, just know that it's not coming from a salty space. It's coming from just a more reality. What's real? Let's keep it real. You know, let's keep it real. Let's talk about it. And, you know, we'll go from there. My projections on the season as far as the Lakers, a lot of times I like to, like, you know, you want to be positive, but you also got to be realistic, right? It would be great to be like, oh, LeBron's still looking good. I think the Lakers can, you know, make it into the playoffs. I think the reality of it is you got a new coach, right? You made really no moves to put you in a better position to go further in the playoffs, or to even make it into the playoffs. We got rescued the last few years by the play-in tournament. So, like, realistically, if you make no moves besides a new rookie coach and a couple of, like, you know, rookies, the logic around that, it would be hard to really see us making it further than we did last year, or us being in an actual payoff position to where we don't have to play in the playoff turn or the play-in tournament, right? I feel like LeBron is very, like, he has a strong will, so he believes, like, hey, look, anything I want, I can make it happen somehow. We'll figure it out. But there's also realities to this, right? You got an 82-game season. Last year, LeBron did a really, really good job of playing in a lot of games. I think he only missed 6, maybe 7 games, something like that. Maybe a couple more, but I couldn't hate. Overall, he played in a large percentage of the games. There wasn't a lot of load management. And even with that, they struggled, right? Even with that, they barely made it into the playoffs via the playoff tournament, or the play-in tournament, right? Now, if you fast forward another year, I know he, you know, in the interview he was just saying, he's talking about, like, I got more energy than some of the young guys, this and that. Hey, maybe, you know, by all means. But they always say this for a reason. Father Time is undefeated, right? The reality of it is that my man just played in the summer, just played in the Olympics, right? He's back now playing again. He's about to turn 40 years old. Maybe he has zero downturn, right? Maybe there's no show, or, you know, yeah, no reflection of any wear and tear or any aging. Maybe. But that wouldn't be scientific logic if you went that route. It might happen. He might be the one-off that is, you know, he's still in a prime position at this age. I don't believe it, right? I don't think so. I think that, you know, he looks great in the Olympics. You have games that are a little bit more spaced out. You're playing with a group of superstars where you don't really have to do as much, and it isn't part of a 82-game season, right? Now you go into this 82-game season, you're going to be the load carrier, right? Like, you're still the best player on your team. You're still going to be expected to probably produce the most points, right? No one's thinking that anybody, maybe AD, but besides that, everyone still would expect LeBron James to be 20 to 25 points a game. If he's not, now you're asking yourself, if LeBron James goes down in points, if he plays less games this year, if he plays less minutes, you're expecting people that they have to step up and turn this team into a overall better team. I just don't think it's likely with the circumstances. Anything can happen, of course. They can make some trades at the deadline that put them in a better position, or, you know, by February. I just don't really see that happening, you know. Not to say I don't see them making any trades. I just don't see them making any trades that really make a meaningful difference, right? But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But once again, 100 Years of Wealth. Like and subscribe. Thanks for tapping back in. Check out the podcast that I did with Mr. Nixon. Got some funny stuff going on in there. And like, subscribe, comment, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think the Lakers are going to be doing this year. Tell me what you think of Bronny. Is he going to get better? Is he going to become a true NBA player? Or is it always going to be like, hey, he's here, he's on the team because he's LeBron James' son, right? It's kind of unfortunate, you know. When I look out there, I'm like, damn, is it take your kids to work day? What the fuck? But 100 Years of Wealth, though. Like and subscribe. Peace, you guys.